Hi, my name is Steve Carmack. I want to thank you for being here with me today. Folks, today I'd like to share with you on how to build a prospecting pipeline. This might be one of the most important trainings that I could ever give or that you could ever listen to. It's just a very important part of this business. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share some tips with you on how to build and how to work a prospecting pipeline. Now, these tips that I'm going to share with you have helped me become the recruiter of the month multiple times with multiple companies throughout my career, and has played a major role with helping me build my teams to over 40,000 distributors. It's also played a major role with helping me sign up people days, weeks, months, and years after I first approach them. So it's very, very important. Keep in mind that, finding and sponsoring new customers and distributors is the lifeblood to the Zedra business. And also, too, I want you to never forget, and in each of my trainings, I'll probably cover this, but because of unlimited levels in the marketing plan, that just one good rep on your left team or your right team can create wealth for you and your family. So understand that just one good rep on your left or your right team, wow, I mean, it can be life-changing. So now the key is, or the question that you probably have is, what is a prospecting pipeline? That's a great question. It's basically a system that, and I'm going to kind of illustrate it this way. It's a system, and I want this box to kind of illustrate what I'm going to say. It's a system that when you first introduce someone to your product or to your business, is that basically, if they do not join when you first introduce them, that now basically they're going to go into this pipeline where you're going to drip information on them over a period of time. That's going to keep you, your product or your business in front of them until the timing's right, and we're going to talk more about that in a second, till the timing's right that they become a new customer or distributor. So that's really all a prospecting pipeline is. Introduce someone if the business is not for them or the time is not right. Now you put them into the pipeline, and then you just continue to drip information until the timing is right and they join. So, okay, a big part of the pipeline is your prospect list. And I know that whenever we get involved with a company, all their trainings always start off is make your list. And, and I've seen people roll their eyes. Don't do that, folks. The your contact list is a big part of the prospecting pipeline. And that's really like your inventory. So what I'm going to share with you in a couple seconds is how to build that inventory. And so you want to start off by making a list of 25 or 50 people. And you might say, well, I don't know 25 or 50 people. Well, just pretend you're getting married or remarried. Who would you invite to your wedding? And normally that one exercise makes it simple to come up with a list of 25 or 50. Now, of course, you're looking to add prospects to that list on a daily basis. Some of the ways to add people to the list is take your original list of 25 or 50 people and look at each one and say, who do they know that I know? And I'll give you a good example. Mark Blanton is a real close friend of mine. So if he was on my list, I would say, who does Mark know that I know? And I'm like, Alan Garman. So I write Alan on my list. And I say, who does Alan know that I know? And I'm thinking, oh, David Pugh. I write David Pugh. Then I just go through my list, and that one simple exercise could take your list from 25 to 50 to 200, truthfully. The other thing that I recommend is go on Facebook. Most people today literally, have 100 or hundreds of friends on Facebook. Well, go through your Facebook friends and review them, because you're gonna be thinking of people. You're like, oh, I forgot all about Dave McKendrick. So you add Dave McKendrick. So that's a great way to add people to your contact list. And then once you go through there, then you go do the same thing. Who do they know that I know? And it's just a great way to add people. Another way is when you're out and about in your regular travels or your work or whatever, and you run into people, get their contact information and just pique some interest. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. And if they show any kind of interest, get their information, add them to your prospect list. So step number one, the big part of the pipeline is developing your contact list. And folks, if you don't have a contact list, you're really not in the game yet. So I'd encourage you to do that. Okay, now the approach. Folks, this is so important. All you're looking to do is to see if they're open to looking at what you have. It could be the business and or the product. All you're looking to do is to see if they're open. Understand that our business, I was going to say our product is not for everybody, but I truly believe our product is for everybody. But the business may or may not be. But the main thing I want to the point I'm trying to get across to you is, all you're trying to do is see if they're open to looking. And if someone does say no, don't take it personally. I mean, I used to take it personally when I first got into business. I'm all excited, and they're not interested. I'm like, how can you not be how can you not be interested? So if they say no, don't take it personal. And a good example of this is I heard a story about a restaurant waitress, and the boss asked her to go out and ask the people if they wanted some ice cream and apple pie. So she went to each table and just to see if they were open to getting some ice cream and apple pie. Now, folks, most of them said no, thank you. They're really polite. And she didn't take it personal if they said no, because she was just seeing that they were open. And she didn't take it personal. Same thing when you're introducing people to the business or your product, and for whatever reason, if they say no, they don't want to look or whatever, don't take it personal. Time is everything. So, all right, here's my approach. I would just say, we're going to say Joe. Hey Joe, Lisa and I just started a new business that we're excited about, and we thought of you. Now, normally the conversation is going to be, well, what kind of business is it? At that point, you don't want to dump on them. You want to just ask questions and get them involved in a conversation. And that's when I say, are you familiar with CBD oils? Most of the people are going to say yes. And I'm going to get them to tell me, some of their great experience of themselves or others. And if someone says no, then I'm basically going to go into, let me ask you this. Do you know anybody that, suffers from bone discomfort in the joint, like the elbow, shoulders, back, neck? You know anybody that has restless sleep, or could use more sleep? Or do you know anybody that during stressful times need to calm down and relax? And most of the time they're going to say me. Well, folks, at that point, that's what I'm going to say to them. Well, that's our business. The CBD Squares, as we call it, has helped a lot of people. And I just really like to have you check it out. And you told me that, that you had some shoulder discomfort, right? Well, let me just give you 2 videos. I want you to check it out and give me your thoughts on it. Can you do that? So what I sent him is stevecarmack.com, and that's just the introduction to the Intune Squares. And then the other one is stevecarmack.info, and that's where Dr. Johnson goes through showing why our product is different and better. And so basically, that's all I'm doing. Finding out if they're open, let them know that I'm excited about it, tell them a little bit about the product, and just ask them will you check it out for me? Now, folks, if they're interested in the money, if they're like, Steve, that sounds good, but, can you make some money? I go, Joe, one thing I can tell you, it's a great product that me and Lisa highly recommend fully. But I can tell you this, it's the best pay plan I've ever seen in my 26 years in the industry. And so if they have an interest, then I might send them one of the training videos that I put together showing the pay plan, part 1 and 2. So anyway, that's the introduction. Now I'm going to do the follow-up. Folks, the follow-up is where most people, I think, fail in this business. And they say that the fortune is made in the follow-up. So basically, you've introduced somebody to your product or your business. You invited them to see the videos. Now all you can do is going to follow up. And I always ask them when I call up, hey, John Joe, did you get a chance to watch the video? Yes, Steve, I really did. I go, well, what do you like best about what you saw? And folks, I can tell you when you ask that, is they're going to be, it's just the way they think. They're going to say, well, I really like that it helps, people with sleep. Or I can see it helps people with discomfort in their joints. It's whatever that's important to them is what you want to keep the focus on. And so basically, if, after they tell you what they like, there's 1 or 2 things you try to do. Go ahead and get them signed up. Go ahead and order the product. Excuse me. Or to get them on a 3-way phone call with your sponsor or your upline. So when you follow up, what do you like best? And go and let's get the product ordered or let's get on a 3-way call. And that's really, what the follow-up is all about. And I can tell you that if you just do the simple approach and follow-up and get people on a 3-way call, that makes the business very simple, very doable. And also, too, especially if you're new in the business, by you doing that, you're going to learn a lot on these 3-way calls when your prospects are asking your sponsor or your upline leader questions that maybe you didn't know. So, okay, what if they say no? Because again, our business is not for everybody. The product, I still think the product's for everybody. That's just my opinion. But what if they say no? Well, folks, timing has a lot to do with it. And if it's not right, that's okay. And of course, you don't want to burn any bridges. And what you're looking to do is build relationships. So, but if they say no, this is where the drip campaign comes in. This is where the prospecting pipeline comes in. Because remember, all we're looking to do is drip information on them in a way that we're not going to, not offend them, but, don't want to bother them, I guess it's a good word. We're going to do it in a way that's not going to bother them. But it's a way of keeping you and your product and your business in front of them. And so one of the easiest ways, folks, today with social media to drip on them is to share a Facebook post. And you can tag them. And basically when you tag them, or you share information, them and your friends are going to be seeing it like a commercial on a regular basis. The other thing I do is I kind of comment on any of their posts, just keeping me in front of them. So the other thing you can do is text message. And, again, I wouldn't do it every day, but if it's a prospect, you want to drip. And drip is, drip is not like, pouring the gallon of water on them, if you know what I mean. So you can drip, the Facebook that you share or you post, that's kind of a roundabout way of dripping. A text message or instant message, the instant messenger is another good way to drip information. And then what I normally do is I call them up every 2 or 3 months, and depending on who they are, some people maybe once a month, some people every 3 or 4 months. But again, it's dripping information on them. And so basically, what you're looking to do when you're dripping information on them is you're looking to build a relationship with them, and also you're just trying to just keep yourself in front of them until the timing is right. So, and that's what you call building a prospecting pipeline. And again, folks, this is how I have personally enrolled people days, weeks, months, and years after I first approach them. So, kind of recapping is basically the approach. You just tell them that you and your wife or your spouse are just starting their new business, that you thought of them, and you just basically get them to invite them to watch a couple videos. You want to follow up with them and to see what they like best, either enroll them or get them on a 3-way call. And then if the answer is no because the time is not right or whatever, then just begin to drip information, and eventually they will join. And what I find is in the business, as the longer you're in the business, the more credibility that they have for you. Because if you get in the business and you only last 2 months, and but again, time makes everything in their mind that, wow, this is something that they're excited about. They've been in it 6 months, a year. So it's called credibility. But again, this is how I built a career, folks, and that's what you're doing. From this training, you're learning how to build a career. This is not where you're going to go out and talk to 2 or 3, 4 people, and if they're not interested, well, this business don't work. Folks, I don't care what business it is, if it's easier or whatever business it is, you can't judge it on that. You're looking to build a career, and the way you do that is by building your contact list and doing introduce people, follow up, and put them in a pipeline, and then drip information. If you do that, you're going to build a very successful business. And remember, all you need is one good rep on your left or on your right, because of unlimited levels, this to create you and your family some just incredible income. So anyway, I'm going to thank you for being here. Anytime you have questions, please, contact me, and I'll be more than happy to help you or get with your sponsor. And I truly believe that teamwork makes the dream work for all of us. So God bless. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.